Are you tapped out buying in your personal name or looking to explore buying in your super fund? In this episode on YouTube or whatever platform you're listening to, we're going to be talking about SMSF purchases. We're doing a lot of them in the buyer's agency, and my friend here, Nevada, my mortgage broker, is also helping people finance them.
Yeah, we've seen a big uptick in the SMSF lending, particularly because people are reaching their servicing limits personally. And that self-managed super fund really gives access to some additional options, capacity there.
Same on the buyer's agency front. I'm a chartered accountant by trade. That's my background. So I understand trusts and bare trusts and different vehicles. People seem to think that it's quite complex. You still need to work with your accountant to get your documents together. But the reality is buying in a super fund maybe has a few extra steps in it. But if you work with the right team, right mortgage broker, right buyer's agent, right accountant, you can get your ducks in a row, and these purchases can be pretty straightforward. Now, we'll define what an SMSF is. So it's a super fund purchase, and you're buying essentially like a corporate trustee trust. It's very similar to trust structure buying, just obviously sectioned off in your superannuation. So Nevada, if I'm wanting to buy my SMSF and I don't know where to start, what kind of bank balance would I need to make a property purchase in my super fund? If I want to buy, say, in Southeast Queensland and buy a house, which for us as a buyer's agent would be about, say, $800,000.
Yep. So you generally want to work with, you can get away with less, but what I would recommend you start with would be a 20% plus cost deposit.
Yep, a classic style of lending.
So in that instance, you would be looking at, let's say,
160,000 on the deposit plus closing costs, so maybe up to 200K balance.
Correct. And then you might want might be a good idea to have a bit of some surplus funds after the purchase within the fund as well to cover any sort of ongoing costs and whatnot.
And so with the assessments from the lending side on an SMSF, is the bank looking at how much I'm putting in from my day job or looking at the rental income? How does that work from assessing the income side?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a different equation compared to within personal names. So the equation, the simple option is essentially the rental income the property is going to receive, what your mandatory contributions are from your job, so the guaranteed component.
Yep.
What you have been putting in extra for the previous 12 months.
So voluntary contributions as well?
Yeah, that generally works with your servicing capacity. If it works on that basis, great, play on. That's a nice, simple application. If you need additional income to that, then we can also look at your capacity outside of the fund and determine how much extra you could contribute to the fund if you were required to.
Gotcha.
So you can have that extra step to sort of increase that capacity further, but then it starts involving all your other properties or other, things personally held as well. A full
assessment to check that you can make those repayments as defined.
And a big one that we see a lot of is business owners as well. So people have their own business, maybe don't pay themselves super because they're prioritizing the funds elsewhere and growing their business or whatnot. And then there's options there, either the alt doc method or looking at what the business could afford to contribute towards super if you wanted to. One of the key differences with the business owner as well, if they're going down the commercial route, they can actually buy a commercial premises and rent it to their business.
Yes.
Whereas in the resi space, you cannot live in the property, or no one you know personally can live in the property. It has to be completely arm's length.
Yeah. And the type of assets we're buying as buyers agents here in Southeast Queensland tend to be more set and forget. The reason is super funds have a lot of requirements around what you can do to the property, who you can rent it to, how much work you can do to it. And so most of our clients are wanting more set and forget assets, which tend to be a little bit higher in purchase price. But you can combine with your partner. So if you've got a spouse, they've been working full time for 10 years and you've been working full time and you've got both a $200,000 balance, that might enable you to buy in Brisbane, a $1.2 million super fund purchase, which is going to be a quality area. We just did one of these deals for a client in our business that was a super fund purchase. He bought in the inner ring of Brisbane. We're talking 6-7 Ks on the north side of the city. He bought a property that was built maybe 10, 15 years ago. And that tends to be the case for a lot of, from the buying side, that people want set and forget assets. Generally low set brick is the common thing we hear. He bought on like a city block size, so about 450 square meter block. And that's the reality. If you can work with a broker to get the funding approved, then we can go help you as a buyer's agent acquire an asset that's going to suit that specific structure in buying a new super fund with the view that it's for your growth. It's for that end phase of the super fund. Some people will sell down as part of their strategy and go into annuities and all different types of assets. And other people will want to hold that asset into their super fund and sell at a later date. So talk me through what you're seeing on your side as far as applications and price points. Do you have any other points around what people are really doing with their super fund purchases?
Yeah, definitely. And we are seeing a lot of instances where it's multiple people, often a couple. Sometimes it's two completely separate parties doing a joint
Coming together.
super fund to have that combined balance. If
Or
your
we
balance
buy a shopping centre, mate? Or-
Yeah.
That's a big super fund balance, I think.
Oh yeah, you do come across them every now and then. But if you do see if someone's balances are lower, sometimes the costs actually set up the fund and it stops being worth it at a certain sort of lower end of the balance. So you generally want to have a sizable cash position combined to start. As far as rates, they're not as much more expensive than a standard resi rate compared to what they used to be. They used to be a fair bit more expensive.
Yeah, it was very limited lending options, 5-10 years ago. There's a lot more lenders on the panels.
Correct.
Now.
And they're generally dedicated lenders who specialize in SMSF lending, who that's sort of majority of what they do. So they've gotten really good with all the compliance components and getting through, I guess, all the, dotting all the I's, crossing all the T's, that sort of stuff.
Timing of contracts is a big thing we see in the buyer's agency. Yeah. Is this trust deed enacted before we sign, and all the headaches that come with the actual...
It is a little bit more tedious, the lending, to be honest. Yeah. It's slightly higher in rate. There can be higher fees, but the fees are particularly more of a component of our research on our end because the variance is so much higher than in the personal space. Like in the resi sort of standard lending environment, the fees... they don't vary too much. In the SMSF space, someone can have a really sharp rate and then, on page 60, they have their fees quoted, which are quite exorbitant. So that may make them overall more expensive. So a big part of our research is also getting all those fees outlined and everything as well.
A full picture of what you're buying and how much it's going to cost you.
It's also an unregulated space as well. So it's worth people noting that it's a good, in that situation, it's worth sort of reading everything in a bit more detail and understanding what's involved, because it doesn't work the same as lending in your personal name.
And that's where you need a trusted team, like having a mortgage broker go through the fine print, present to you the estimated costs, and the plan moving forward is very important. I get asked a lot, why, do I buy my SMSF? I'm 31 years old, and so for me, I'm about 30 years away from accessing my super. And so the strategy is tailored to your situation. The honest answer for me, and Nevada can talk to this, is I actually buy in trust structures, and I've done a lot of deals with the guys at Cube. I've done 4 purchases in the last 12 months, and 3 out of the 4 were in specific separate trust structures. And so maybe you're not feeling like the big benefit of buying in super is that leverage piece and getting a greater asset base exposure. So instead of having a 200K super balance, you're holding $1 million asset, which could grow at 5 or 10%. 10% growth would be $1 million of growth, which is a big return on 200K cash. And so the reason I'm not heavily doing it in my super personally, because people will ask that based on this video, is because of my age, and I'd rather have my assets in my personal name and do trust structures, which we can do a whole nother video on down the track about trust structure lending. But yeah, talk me through, I don't want to buy an SMSF, but I like the idea of trust. Is that something you guys can help with as well?
Yeah, absolutely. The assessment works a little differently in that regard, but again, we see a lot of the people purchasing in trust structures for sure.
Yeah.
There's certainly pros and cons from a lending side when it comes to that perspective as well. Most lenders don't apply the negative gearing benefit, so it can slightly reduce your borrowing capacity. But there is instances in the future when that trust is neutrally or positively geared, where you can completely disregard the lending from that entity.
Yep.
Sort of act like it's not there from a lending, as long as it's covering and looking after itself.
Yep.
And that can further expand borrowing capacity for additional purchases. We see a lot of people, it's generally not for the first investment property purchase, maybe not the second, but at a certain point, based on advice from yourself or an accountant, it can make sense to start engaging
exploring
in
those options.
Trust structures. Yeah.
And it's got to be the right structure for the right buyer. And so you might be exploring your SMSF, you might be exploring trust structure lending and personal name lending. Work with a broker like the guys at Cube Home Loans, because they took me from $5 to $10 million in my asset base. And maybe I would have done okay on my own, but the reality is that they've given me a lot more confidence, and they've also given me access to lenders that I wouldn't have even discussed with if I'd gone directly to one lender. I used to deal directly with CBA, but I know these guys are looking at 20 or 30 lenders, and some strategic solutions. Time, value of money is important. I bought some recent deals with trust structures with a more second and third tier lender, and now we're strategizing about the importance of refinancing and progressing.
Yeah, and the way I always think about it, and what I sort of advise people, is if we can, the rates and the lender you go with and all that sort of stuff is important, But the overall strategy, the property is the critical factor. So if we can get the lending sort of out of the way and allow people to buy more suitable properties, that's going to be the bigger benefit in their long-term situation. So it's less about, oh, here's your maximum borrowing capacity, and that limits you to, you know, if it's 700 or 650 these days, there's not much options.
Yeah, you're barely being able to buy a house at that price point.
Versus a touch of a higher rate, and it's a lender that's going to open that up to 850 or something,
way more
around
options.
there. All of a sudden, you're in a way better position.
Yeah, and that's the truth. So if you want to buy a house in Southeast Queensland, head over to purposeproperty.com.au. We can help you find, source, and negotiate the right deal, whether you're buying in a super fund, personal names, or trust structures. And where do the people head if they need some broking help?
Cubeloans.com.au is the one.
Cube Home Loans in Google, Cube Loans, I'm sure it'll pop up. You can head over to our website at Purpose Property and click on Mortgage Broker, and they'll pop up there too. You need the team behind you, whether it's Nevada and myself. It doesn't matter whether you need a good mortgage broker, a good buyer's agent, ideally a good accountant and team around you to help structure this. So we're just trying to give you those ideas and encourage you in the right direction. So if you want the help, head over to those pages, and thanks for sticking around. We'll see you in the next one.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.